This is my third video that I'm making for my YouTube channel. I know I can post to other places, but it helps me to focus in on one thing at a time. And then I figure once I do that one thing, especially if it's sort of like a longer form thing, I guess I don't know how to do anything well or at all any shorter really, other than the way that I've just been doing it. That's the beauty of being able to edit things. So being able to start over. So the thing is I think once I learned how to edit videos and not take like hours trying to figure out how to like do one thing, I will feel a lot more confident in the idea behind you don't need to do anything perfectly. You can do what I'm doing right now, basically, which is not overthinking it, waiting until I feel like a draw to hit record, because there's just certain times of the day or certain days or whatever where I just don't, and I don't want to, and I can't, and I don't feel like it and everything. And this is definitely not meant to be one of those things that I'm forcing myself to do it. That's part of my experiment. It has to feel good and easy. Like right now, this is feeling good and easy because I don't really feel any pressure to do anything. And because I'm a verbal processor, who has a lot of emotions and a lot of constant thoughts that just churn and churn and churn away, it feels good to talk. It's, talk therapy, I guess, in a way, for myself. And it's just trying to figure out, maybe I just have needed to do this like my whole life to feel a little bit better. And not even to feel better, but it's the idea of taking the more things that come out of my head and they're somewhere out in the world, whether that's talking like I'm doing now or writing, even if I don't do anything else but go through this experience of doing this, I feel like there's something that I get out of it in a way that if I kept it in my head, I wouldn't. And I do find that a lot of my life I've probably needed this and felt this way, but at a pretty young age, I got really self-conscious about me just being me and just showing up as is, unfiltered, unplanned, unnatural, I guess. And a big part of that is feeling like my whole life, like I'm too much. And a lot of that is in the way I communicate. And a lot of the way I communicate, this too muchness, is rooted in my brain, which, because I have ADHD, it's a hyperactive brain. Not just what everyone usually thinks when they think of ADHD, which is hyperactive little kids bouncing off the walls. And because I have combo ADHD, which is hyperactive and inattentive, as a 48-year-old now who was just diagnosed last summer at 47, like I can think back. I'm hyper in compared to probably your average person, I would consider myself physically probably like that. But here's the thing, when I was a kid, it was like I bounced all over the place. I was an excitable child, with a lot of energy from the time I was a toddler. And then, a lot of that came out as physical, but it also came out as I talked a lot. So I would get in trouble at school and stuff. I would get in trouble by my parents for, mostly my father, for, saying things that I shouldn't have said. So there's that sort of hyperactive element of being impulsive. And also, I guess, part of being, neurodivergent, I feel like there's an element of speaking the truth and being direct about it. Not so much as a way, like, I don't feel like I said things in order to get, not never, but I don't think my main goal of saying things to people was to get a rise out of them or to piss them off. Sure, of course, I've definitely, especially as a teenager, definitely did that. But especially as a child, like, I don't know. I think it came out that way. I think people who didn't understand would, like my father or my teachers or even my peers, would think that I was probably being rude or, talking back is what everybody called it, right? Back in the 80s, it was just like, yeah, like, don't talk back to me. When I really think I was just questioning a lot. And of course, people in leadership positions like that, at least in my world when I was growing up, a lot of them feel threatened when they're questioned, especially by this like hyperactive little 8-year-old, right? Or as a teenager, like, who you think you know everything, like that sort of thing, right? Yeah, so I got punished a lot for that. I got in trouble for not, sitting still or being quiet enough in a lot of different circumstances. But I think my one saving grace for school was that, I don't know if I just got really good at like, I don't know what it was. I was gonna say hiding it. So probably that was an element of it. It's not like I was getting detention every other day or getting suspended or like, anything like that. I really didn't. I can count on one hand the amount of times in my whole school career that I got in trouble. But the one thing that keeps sticking out in my head as I'm thinking about this right now is in second grade. My second grade teacher, who I adore, Mrs. Sachoka. Hi, if you're out there somewhere. Hi. Class of 1983, I think. Second grade, Mrs. Sachoka at JFK Elementary. I hope she's still around. I have to look her up. I looked her up a couple of years ago and she was. But she was totally my favorite, at least when it comes to like elementary and middle school. My favorite teacher. But she, and this is probably why, because she was my favorite teacher, I still remember how I felt when she would get mad at me for talking back. And that was one of the only times I can think of where like my parents were like, I got like straight A's like pretty much most of my school career or whatever. So I was like a good student, but this was one of the few times when my parents came back from a teacher conference and they said that was one of the things I got brought up. Not just even talking too much, but talking back. And so yeah, I always remember that because I remember when my parents came to me and told me like, you really need to like stop doing that and I was like kind of aghast at it because like in my world, I didn't feel like I was really like this troublemaker or, and it, like I said, it was a teacher that I adored. So like, I wanted her to like me. So it wasn't like something I was doing on purpose. So the idea of, this is something I could be doing and like making her not like me, was like terrifying, not terrifying, but just sort of like, no, I don't want that. And so I learned at a pretty early age that not to do that. um, so, self-control is something that I think was sort of ingrained in me from a pretty young age. Of there are parts of me that are, I guess, out of control or that I'm not aware of until someone gives me some feedback. But these are things that if I concentrate really hard and once I'm made aware of it, if it's something I actually really want, then I can figure out how to get around it. And do what it is that I need to do in terms of behavior or whatever. And that concept right there, as I got older and learned more and more of that from, as in school, in the world, in with friends, with teachers, with parents, with anybody, my sibling, right? Pretty much anywhere out in the world, those were the messages I was getting, that I needed to be, in order to be good, I had to be and liked, and have friends or win external validation from people I really admired and respected and loved, that being myself in its too muchness, even if my heart was in the right place, was not a good strategy. And so getting all those messages or whatever basically meant I went from being this hyperactive sort of no filter kid, eager, annoying is what my sister called me most of the time, and pretty much I'm sure I was in a lot of ways, right? Just not cool. Not quiet and not whatever, just a nerd, and with too much energy and just kind of goofy and stuff. And I did not have a lot of friends when I was in elementary school, and I was overweight, and I had buck teeth, and I don't know. And I was a straight A student who was nerdy. And so I was always top of my class or whatever. And so I don't know, in that sense, I kind of, because I cared a lot about school, and I still to this day don't know why I cared so much about it. But at 48 now, I've definitely been thinking about it a lot, of what it was that motivated me. And it wasn't necessarily learning. It's which is really fucked up, but it was more that I had these goals and reaching them made me feel good. So I guess the dopamine hits or whatever of, getting the highest grade in the class or whatever made me feel good, because I get rewarded by the teacher. I'd feel good that I was able to do something at school good amongst my peers. Okay, so maybe I wasn't pretty or thin or popular or good at sports, which I wasn't, or had a bunch of friends or whatever it was, but at least I was smart, right? And so that is something that my parents valued highly. And so doing well in school and stuff, and I guess being smart. And these were two parents who never completed college. But we grew up being always being told you are going to college. And one of the few ways I felt like I could earn people's anything, this was the one way I could do it. And the only thing I had to do was focus on it, on that one thing, and do it lots and try really, really, really hard until I did. And so that's basically what I did. I wasn't gifted and talented and all these other things when I was younger or whatever, but I don't know if it had anything to do with my grades. The thing was that I was really creative when I was younger. I used to write poetry a lot. I used to draw and doodle. I was really into unicorns and fantasy stuff. I was, I had a really goofy mom and father. Yeah, I guess all of us were pretty goofy. So my mom would do these weird dances around and she, used to make up her own language and, talk in that, and like she was awesome. And my dad was pretty much, as far as I know, like total ADHD, undiagnosed till he died at 2 years ago at 75. And yeah. So, of course, I'm totally off my train of thought here, but yeah, the goofiness was definitely something I inherited it, but also was around a lot of the time. I have no idea where I was. Oh yeah. So back to the school thing. Right. So like, how did I get good grades or whatever? I just studied a lot. Honestly, I don't think it was because I was that smart. I think I just knew I could like game the system. I basically knew that like, this test was coming up, and I don't know, I paid attention during class because, again, if my teacher, who I really, really like, is talking, like, I want to pay attention to what she said, because if she says anything important or whatever, or I can use that in some way, like, to, get a higher score on the test tomorrow or whatever it is, or do better on the project, and just paying attention and stuff means that I wouldn't get in trouble, and I wouldn't get, and I would be liked more, basically. So, yeah. So it was really just that external validation. It wasn't that I was taking that necessarily and learning much with it. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't learn anything, but I do think that like I probably had to work twice as hard most of my life to get my good grades, or whatever it was. Like my sister was, and gifted and talented too, and got good grades, top of her class too, same school system. But she, as far as I know, from what I remember being told when I was really younger, that she had a higher IQ. And that at some point I learned that she had like a Mensa IQ. And I have nobody ever talked to me about my IQ. There was no talk of Mensa or anything and stuff. And so like, I think from a young age, I took that in. I like assimilated that into like, okay, I'm not as smart as her, as my sister, right? My parents know that, probably all the teachers know that, whatever. I know that now. But instead of, I guess, making me feel like jealous or whatever, I think it just meant that like, I kind of like assumed my rightful spot in the family, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll be the number 2 smartest kid out of the 2 kids, right? I'm the younger one, it's okay. But I guess what I did was she set that model. And so I didn't learn how to do it because I think she was just naturally smart. Like, I don't think she had the same motivations and drive for validation and like all that stuff. I don't think she had the ADHD issues, whatever it was. I think she just was smart. I think she just knew like what she needed to do. She like, and she did the work and she paid attention and she got really good grades and high test scores through pretty much her entire academic career. I feel like I always fell short of that for most of my academic career, but I had to put in at least twice as much of the effort and time probably. And whether that's paying attention in school, or just, doing more homework or whatever it was, studying much longer and harder and concentrated and stuff like that, in order to get not even as good of a result as her, but as close to that as I could get. And that was still pretty good. So it just was exhausting. And honestly, like when I think back, I'm like, why? And again, it all leads back to the fact that I didn't feel like I was good at anything else or worth anything to anybody else. And so this made me happy. This was like this artificial joy, I guess, I was getting from these little hits of, feel good things that, that I got from the age of 6 or 5 when I started kindergarten all the way up to, graduating college in 1998. So I think about that a lot. I don't know where I'm going to. I went way off topic here. There's so many things about what I said that I could talk about. But yeah, like I wish I knew how to edit these videos. or just extract like one or two things or whatever, because that's just my style, is to turn this on, start talking, and seeing where it goes. And then at some point I'm going to learn how to edit this and do something else with it for short form stuff, but to share, because I know people aren't going to have more than 30 seconds or 2 minutes or whatever it is. No one's going to care. Like, so yeah, so if there is something, I guess, that strikes a chord with anybody, or they find interesting, or they can relate to, or whatever, it's that sort of thing that I'd like to know about. I'd like to know if anything, you know, if anybody who's watching this here or anywhere where I post it understands this and had similar experiences or whatever, you know, as a child or even just as an adult now, because this stuff doesn't go away. This stuff just morphs into something else. And so probably to kind of wrap this up for now, my hyperactivity as a child, going all the way back to the beginning, basically, once I became more self-aware and saw how I would study other people to try to figure out, like, well, what was the magic key? Like, I really wanted to be liked. Why did I want to be liked? Because I wanted more friends. I didn't necessarily need to be totally popular and like have a billion friends or whatever, but I wanted more than just like half of a friend or one friend or whatever at a time, right? Like I kind of figured, like, if I only had one friend, like, you know, and there's like 100 people out there and only one of them likes me, like, clearly I'm doing something wrong, right? And I guess I was more of a people person, and sort of like I would look out at other people and I'd be like, oh, they're cool, they're nice, they're this, they're smart, they're talented, they're funny, they'd make a good friend or whatever, just from like the outside. But like I wouldn't even really get to that next stage of being able to sort of to bring that into my world. And so unless I made myself appealable in some way, right, that other people wanted to spend time with me and wanted me to, you know, wanted to have like a friendship with me or whatever. And so I think it was when I became a teenager, I guess, like I'm going to say around 7th grade is when things started to shift, where I started being like, oh, all I have to do is like, you know, take note of all this feedback and not just, you know, internalize it and be upset about it or whatever, and then happily go about my way or whatever, because that doesn't, you know, doesn't result in anything, you know, positive, or closer to what I want. So instead, I'm gonna take in all this feedback and study other people who sort of have what I want and try to replicate that somehow, and be less of myself, right? So I mean, being a teenager is all about, right, trying to find who you are and all that other stuff. But I think that there was this really big, weird tension between just sort of having a good understanding of who the real me was and everything, but then not knowing, A, whether I'd be loved for it, whether I'd be liked for it, whether it was acceptable, whether, you know, whether, and you know, and whether I liked myself for any of those things. And so I think I just leaned more toward, like, you know, the things that the people who knew me the most, I guess, whatever things they liked about me, or those are the things I was going to try to double down on. And that looked kind of different, I guess, depending upon whether I was at school, which people I was hanging out with, and definitely there became this split the older I got into high school of who I wanted to be around, why I wanted to be around them, how I felt about showing up as myself, more of what myself was. And yeah, and I definitely had this like split when I was at home. So I felt like I was leading this double life. I didn't even curse in front of my parents until I was like 24. I'm not even joking. Like, I will have a whole episode about this some other time. But like, I remember the first time I actively, freely was able to curse, and this was in 7th grade. I was in an American school. I was living in England, and like people were cursing up left and right or whatever. And I was like, this feels really good. It wasn't just me trying to be like cool. I mean, I'm sure element of that, right? But it was like, I was never allowed to express myself that way before, ever. And it just felt really natural to me. And so I just did it. And like I did it a lot, like way more than I needed to. But like it was that freedom of being able to experience that and be like, yeah, like I'm gonna do this. Because before that, even though my parents, especially my mother, cursed like sailors, we were just not allowed to. And so neither me nor my sister were allowed to. And we just didn't. I don't know what we thought was gonna happen if a dam slipped out or a crap even, but it never did until we were in our 20s in front of our parents, which is crazy. Like think about how much like hypervigilance and control that took to do, especially as you get older, right? Especially if you're doing it freely in your other life, right? Around other people. And of course, we all need to learn that in certain circumstances, you can't just like drop an F-bomb in front of somebody at work or at school or whatever, right? Clearly, we need to have that boundary, but it was like very much like an on-off switch. And so, yeah, in 7th grade, I went to this American school. I was there all day long. People were just like, all my friends were cursed, everybody. Before that, I had gone to all girls Christian private schools in England for years, in my middle school for like 3 years. And God forbid, couldn't even say God, nobody cursed that I remembered or in front of at school. And so I'd go home and it'd be like that, and at school would be like that. And so 7th grade was like this whole like, oh shit, like I can do this at school, I just can't do it at home. And so that sort of double life between school and my home life, and how I could show up around my parents especially, or any of my family really, other than maybe my sister when she finally went to college. But yeah, it was not showing up authentically at home and having especially my mother see me and know that she loved me for who I really was, as opposed to this person that, she wanted me to be, I guess. Yeah, it was hard. So I'm gonna turn this off now, and maybe I'm gonna make a video like this again soon. I don't know, but this is Mental Health Awareness Month, I think, unless I just missed it. But today is May 1st and I saw a post about it. I think Mel Robbins posted something about how she was just diagnosed at 47 with ADHD. And I was like, oh yeah, that's me too. So she said something about in Mental Health Awareness Month, and I was like, okay, that's probably this month. I should know this. But anyway, this is just one of many mental health things that I have experience with that I don't mind sharing, honestly. And maybe it'll help somebody else, even if it's just one person. So, all right, tell me if there's anything that you want to know more about, or you want me to talk more about or hear about. And like that kind of feedback helps me a lot. All right, see ya.